Hey folks, Amazing Atheist here. This video is to Dil Demonique. I'm just going to call her Demonique from now on because every time I say Dil Demonique, I end up accidentally saying Dildo Monique, which I guess could be considered a Freudian slip. Because I don't think that's a repressed desire though, because I think anyone who doesn't want to associate her with a dildo is probably, not human sexually. And that goes for people of all sexualities. I mean, even gay guys should like that idea. Just my opinion, but it happens to be true. Anyway, that's my backhanded way of complimenting your looks, by the way. I'm not going to come out here and say, she's such a beautiful girl, but, I will say that people should enjoy the idea of you in a dildo, which is my way of saying you're pretty. And I'm not hitting on you because, look at me. Anyway, you're also very smart. You could tell I'm about to start ripping you apart because I'm giving you all these compliments, so I don't feel bad about it. I'm trying to be, balanced here. Like, someone gives you a flower and then stabs you in the fucking abdomen, the flower makes up for it. You're a smart girl. I'm subscribed to you, of course. I agree with you on 80% of the things you say. But that 20%, man, that 20% is some serious shit in there. There's some real important shit in that 20% that we disagree on. I would say we disagree on the 20 most important percent of our beliefs. You wrote to me, and you were defending the book Atlas Shrugged, and you wrote to me, and you said that it wasn't promoting genocide of these people because the protagonists in the book do not actually exterminate them. They simply withdraw from the world, knowing that will be the result, will be the destruction of everything. Through their non-participation, they know that the world will be devastated. Millions will die, etc. Probably billions. Now, no such people actually exist in this world. And you seem to really disagree with that, which I was kind of surprised by, because I didn't think anyone would disagree with that notion. I said, well, for those of you who didn't see the conversation, and that would be all of you except for her, hopefully, unless she's sharing the stuff like I actually am right now. She basically said to me, I hope you're not offended by me sharing this, because I didn't think this was like really private stuff. It seemed like something that we could discuss openly. It wasn't like you told me your secrets or anything. Anyway, she said, I said, first of all, that it's not really applicable because these smart, brilliant people, they're not running the world anyway. And she said, smart people don't run the world? Are you out of your fucking mind? I was like, what? You think smart people are running this shit? I mean, okay. Well, obviously the people that are in the obvious positions of power are stupid. I mean, no one is making the argument for the genius of George W. Bush. But of course, we all know he's not really running the country. The businessmen run the country. But I know the businessmen. I mean, look right here. See that? That's it. Fucking sports car right there in a 3-car garage. I belong to the income bracket. I belong to the income bracket. Oops. I guess I shouldn't have moved the camera. Where I fraternize. God damn it, that stupid box above my head looks ridiculous. I live in the income bracket where I fraternize with the kind of people who run the country, okay? I ate lunch, we ate brunch today in Beverly Hills, where it was $75 per person plus a 20% automatic service thing, plus you still expected to give a gratuity, plus champagne and water. You know, we ate, you know, a $1,000 brunch like it was nothing to us. So I'm obviously in that income level where I can fraternize with these people, where I meet them, I know them. I know people that are in major positions of power in this country. I'm not going to name names because I'm about to call them retarded, because they are. They're stupid fucking people, all right? These are not masterminds here. People, I mean, like Hardcase was telling me that these people are brilliant geniuses. They're evil geniuses. No, they're fucking stupid. They're just, they're mildly clever people who happen to have a talent for manipulation and a lot of ambition. Tenacity got them to the top. Tenacity more than anything. Like, my dad's like that. He has that fierceness. He will do anything to make it to the top. But he's not a fucking genius. Make sure he's not around. He's not a fucking genius, okay? And, I mean, he's a really smart guy, but most of these guys out there are not really smart guys. They're really dumb guys. And they happen to have a buckload of tenacity. They're willing to do anything to get to the top. That's how they get those positions of power. It's not because they're brilliant fucking geniuses. They don't sit there in their little boardrooms smoking a big cigar and cackling, soon we will control the country. No. Controlling the country for them is more about the bottom line than anything. These are not... So, smart people are not running the fucking country. The politicians certainly aren't smart. The businessmen are not smart. You know, the smart people are, you know, the artists, the scientists, the philosophers, people like that, who don't want to have anything to do with this shit. The people who are in positions of power are people whose sole ambition in life is to achieve power. The people whose sole ambition in life is to achieve knowledge or to achieve some kind of enlightenment of any kind, those people don't reach power because it's not what they're aspiring towards. So our country is run by idiots. So in reality, this book is based upon a completely false premise. Because if all the smart people left, sure, it'd do damage, you know, but the damage would be mostly in the arts and in the sciences, which would basically put society at a standstill, obviously. But I don't think it would really collapse it, especially since you're never going to get every single smart person on board anyway. But that's not the point. The point here is that these intellectuals in this book know that without themselves, society would be destroyed. And she argues that them leaving, pulling out of the society, knowing that it would cause the death of millions, is not the same thing as actually actively taking a course of action. That was a really redundant fucking string of sentences, or string of sentence fragments, I guess. Sentence fragments. Okay. Anyway, it's not the same thing morally. Okay. What I want to do is I want to create a microcosm here. I want to bring this down to a microcosmic individual choice level. All right. Let's say Hitler is in a room, and there's a button on the table, right? And it's explained to Adolf Hitler that all he has to do to kill 6 million people is press the button on the table. If he just presses that button, 6 million people are dead fucking instantly. Just dead. And being an evil bastard he is, he pushes the fucking button. And 6 million people die. Alright? Now, in the room across from Hitler is Ayn Rand. And she's sitting at a table, and there's a button on her table. And she's told, Mrs. Rand, or Ms. Rand, or whatever the fuck you are, I guess it would be Mrs. She was married, I think. A missile's about to be launched that's going to kill 6 million people. All you have to do to stop it is push this button. That's all you got to do to stop it. And she doesn't push the button. And 6 million people die. Now, Hitler took an overt action and pushed the button. Ayn Rand didn't take any action, and it had the same result. 6 million people died because of Hitler's action. 6 million people died because of Ayn Rand's inaction. Now, obviously, in real life, Hitler did kill 6 million people, and Ayn Rand just wrote about killing people and made it, presented it as if it were a moral notion. So the question is, do you, in this button scenario, find a significant difference between Hitler's action and Ayn Rand's inaction? Do you really think that she's in the moral right for not pushing the button, just because she didn't take any overt action? Well, it's the same thing. It's just brought down to the most basic level. I mean, by your morality, let's say you're tied to some train tracks, and the train's coming in 5 minutes. It's going to come by, and it's going to run you over, and your fucking head's going to fucking fly off, and blood's going to be gushing out your fucking neck, and your fucking body will be mangled beyond recognition, and your fucking family will find you and fucking weep over your corpse. And I happen to come along, and I see you tied to the tracks. And I say, well, I don't really have any moral obligation to help you, do I? By your own moral code there. I don't have to do anything. Oh, I would help you, but that rope looks awful dirty, and I just got a manicure, and I don't know. I mean, does that sound like a moral action to you? And another thing is, I mean, you constantly made references to people being destroyed by their own stupidity. Like, you really like that idea of people being destroyed by their own stupidity. And I know there's these Darwin Award books that come out where, you read these stories about people who did incredibly stupid things and died. My brother reads those. I read a few and I was kind of amused until I read the introduction and I realized these people are actually saying that this is Darwinism in action. That it's really a good thing that these people died. Now, to me, it's I don't deny that there's an amusement when a stupid person dies of their own stupidity. I won't deny that I get a little chuckle out of it, especially if it's something really fucking dumb. Like the motherfucker driving down the street and he lights a stick of dynamite to throw out the window, but the window's rolled up and it just falls on the floor and he fucking blows his stupid ass up. I mean, it's hard to feel a lot of sympathy for that person. But in this book, it was just the only reason these people died in this book, Atlas Shrugged, is because they're not smart enough to run the entire fucking world. Like, I go to McDonald's and the fucking 16-year-old acne-faced kid at the counter gets my fucking order wrong. Ooh! He couldn't possibly run the free world. How deserving of death he is! I mean, I don't understand. understand your morality. Am I mischaracterizing you? We only got a chance to talk briefly, so I don't know how much of what you said you would actually believe under scrutiny. Because a lot of times people say really stupid shit in the heat of a certain moment when they're pissed off about a certain topic. So I don't know if you actually believe that shit or not. And I don't know if you have objections. I mean, if you have any objection to any of these characterizations, if you have any objection to any of my minimalizations, then, I mean, obviously, tell me so. Either make a video, or just tell me in a private message, or write me in Windows Live Messenger, or whatever. Because I'd really like to continue this discussion or debate or whatever you want to call it. Also, I want to make, I mean, this is probably extreme arrogance on my part. And I'm trying to tone down the egotism or egoism or whatever the fuck you want to call it lately, because of the fact that I notice everyone is doing that shtick these days. Even on your website, you've got this little thing that says me, and then there's a greater than sign, and then it says you. As in, I am greater than you. And I understand that that's half. I understand when people do that, it's halfway farcical. They don't actually objectively believe it, although in all of us, there's a big part of ourselves that always believe that we're the best, that we're the smartest, and that's a positive thing. But I think that a lot of time people use that as a defense to not really try to improve themselves, or to automatically discount what other people say. And I'm trying to kind of avoid that way of thinking. So I'm trying to avoid being as egotistical as I have been in the past. But I'm still going to make a very egotistical presumption. Yeah, that's the part. Presumption here. And that presumption is, I think that maybe you don't want to admit that maybe I'm right and you're wrong, because I'm the kind of person that when I hear moral subjectivism, I have to go look it up. I mean, obviously I know what subjective means, and I know what moral means, but I don't know exactly what those two words mean when put together. I can infer it, or imply it, I guess. But I go and I look it up, whereas you, that's a word that's on the top of your head. So you obviously know a lot more about philosophy than I do. So it might be kind of like irritating that maybe I have a point that you don't. Like I said, I'm probably just being egomaniacal here. But one thing I don't like about your video or Exomniverse's video is that both of you made this assumption that, like, I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm completely ignorant. I don't know as much about this topic as either of you. I will admit that. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm wrong. And, but you guys act, like, immediately when I disagree, you just assume that it's not because I interpret the information in a different way. It's because I don't have all the information that you have. That's a really insulting assumption. And, yeah. So, what the fuck ever. I've been completely civil in this video because I made a video earlier where basically I was screaming and yelling at you, and I watched it and I'm like, I don't want to do that for this particular video because I don't want it to hurt the ideas. I'm not sure if this is coming across intelligently or not. I've made a few foibles linguistically tonight, which is kind of unusual for me, I guess. But I'm kind of tired. It is like 1-something in the morning. And I've had a long day. Woke up a lot earlier than I usually have to on Sundays. So maybe that explains it to an extent. But I hope that you know, regardless of my fucking up the articulation, the delivery in this video, I hope that it still had some valid points. Why am I still talking? Amazing atheist. Peace out!